Kyle was caught sleeping in class by his teacher. Surprisingly, instead of getting angry, the teacher asked him a few questions and told him he could continue resting if he answered them correctly. The questions were simple, but Kyle couldn't even muster a single word. Seeing his student's laziness, the teacher began to lecture him. Unexpectedly, before he could finish, Kyle suddenly charged at the teacher and started beating him. As a result of assaulting his teacher, Kyle was sent to juvenile court. According to the law, he should have been sentenced to 1 year in a juvenile detention center, but the judge ultimately ruled that he only needed to be under house arrest for 3 months, reasoning that his actions were understandable given the circumstances. A few days earlier, Kyle had gone fishing with his father, and they had a great time with a bountiful catch. While driving home, Kyle excitedly shared the joys of their fishing trip with his mother over the phone, filling the car with laughter. However, due to the distraction, he got into an accident. When Kyle managed to crawl out of the car, he discovered that his father had unfortunately passed away. Kyle had been unable to come to terms with this incident, which was the main reason for his low spirits. When the teacher mentioned his father, it touched a raw nerve, causing him to lose control. The consequence? 3 months of house arrest. To prevent him from sneaking out, the police installed a tracking device on his ankle. If he ventured more than 30 meters from the house, the green light on the device would turn red. If he failed to return to the restricted area within 10 seconds, the system would immediately trigger an alarm. Moreover, the tracker was not only waterproof, but also tamper-proof. Kyle's only option was to wait out the full 3 months to have the device completely removed. Although the wait seemed long, it wasn't all bad for Kyle. He spent his days sleeping and playing video games. When he got tired of gaming, he passed the time by gazing out the window. One day, Kyle noticed that new neighbors had moved in next door. Ordinarily, this would be an unremarkable event, but it caught Kyle's special attention because the neighboring family had a girl with long golden hair and a slender figure. Although he couldn't make out her face clearly, it was enough to make Kyle's head spin. Suddenly, the sound of the doorbell interrupted Kyle's thoughts. When he went to the door, he found a burning ball of paper outside. Instinctively, he tried to stomp out the fire with his foot, only to discover that the paper ball contained feces. As it turned out, the 2 kids from next door, knowing that Kyle was confined to his home, had deliberately pranked him. Kyle was furious and immediately ran out to chase them. However, as soon as he stepped out of the yard, his ankle monitor started beeping. Left with no choice, he had to return home. When the green light came back on, Kyle breathed a sigh of relief. But he didn't expect the ankle monitor to be so sensitive. As soon as he entered the house, a police car pulled up in front of his home. Despite Kyle's attempts to explain, the officers still arrested him according to procedure right in front of his neighbors. Fortunately, since it was his first offense, the police just went through the motions without giving him too much trouble. At that moment, the newly moved-in girl came out upon hearing the commotion. This time, Kyle finally got a clear look at her face. Her delicate features and slender figure were a match made in heaven, although his current appearance was a bit awkward. The next day, Kyle started hatching a cunning plan. He had noticed the girl's usual time for coming home, so he deliberately reached for the mailbox that was just out of his reach. When the girl passed by, he intentionally fell and let out a loud cry, hoping to catch her attention. Sure enough, his ploy worked. The girl immediately ran over to help, retrieving the mail from the mailbox. Seizing the opportunity, Kyle casually introduced himself. The girl seemed accustomed to such situations and didn't respond right away. Instead, she turned and left. That night, Kyle had planned to secretly peek at the girl living across from him, but unexpectedly witnessed an unsettling scene. His other neighbors seemed to enjoy prowling around at night, and there was a noticeable scratch on his BMW, matching the description from a news report earlier that day. Recently, several girls had gone missing in the small town, and the police investigation indicated that the perpetrator's car had a similar scratch. Could he be the culprit? Kyle shared this information with his best friend, and the two began searching for related details about the case online like detectives. Of course, this was just a secondary objective. Their main goal was to secretly observe the girl across the street. Whenever the girl started swimming, the two would excitedly dance around, transfixed by her perfect figure. Oh no, they might get caught this time. Just as they were discussing how to handle the situation, the doorbell rang. Upon opening the door, it was indeed her. By now, the girl must have been pretty upset.